What's up, fellas? How you doing, man? Antonelli here.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Answering your questions today. Today's question is about signing bonuses and some of the potential issues that come up when you sign for a lot of money, $1 million, over $1 million. I was lucky enough a long time ago, feels like a million years ago, but it was actually about 15, 16 years ago that I was drafted in the first round and was able to receive a large signing bonus of over $1 million. And so what are some potential issues that come with that? Because a lot of people would just think like, oh my, you're set for life, you can retire, you don't have to do anything ever again. Not so fast, my friend. So today we're gonna go over some of the things that come with signing for a lot of money, and especially as a young kid. Remember, a lot of these players that are signing are high school players that are 18 years old, college players that are 21, 22 years old, and there's even some younger players. If you're talking about players from other countries, maybe Latin America, some of those players are signing younger than 18. They're 16, they're 17 years old. So let's get into all that today. So the first thing to keep in mind before we get into any of this is taxes. A lot of people forget about taxes. So you're going to lose almost half of your money right away from taxes. And so let's say you sign for $1 million and all of a sudden you think in your mind, I've got $1 million. And so you start thinking like, I'm going to buy a private jet. You're probably not going to do that. I wouldn't suggest that. I don't think you can do that. But I'm going to buy a private jet and I'm going to buy a Rolls Royce and I'm going to do all these things because I've got $1 million to spend, right? No, not really. You don't have $1 million to spend. You have about $500,000 because you got to give about half of it away for taxes, to taxes. So keep that in mind at first. You're not actually getting the amount that you think that you're getting, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing, and this is probably the biggest thing, is that just try to put yourself in the mindset. Maybe you are 18, 19, 20, 21, maybe you are 16, 17, and all of a sudden you go from having no money to having $1 million, $2 million, right? However many $1 million you want it to be. Would you know what to do with that? Like, what would you do with that? Right? I think back to when I signed for almost $1.6 million. I didn't have a job most of my life. Like, I washed dishes. I made like $8 an hour washing dishes. So like I had like, I don't even know if I owned a wallet, but I'd have a couple bucks on me every now and then, but I never had a job. I never really had any money. When I was in college, my job my whole life was just to play sports, play baseball. Like I didn't work a job. Again, other than my family had a catering business, so I would wash some dishes. But other than that, my job was to play sports. And when I got to college, my job was to play baseball, to try to be as good as possible at baseball, right? So I went to school and I played baseball. And so the way that I lived was that I lived off my parents because I had no money. And so, if I needed to get food in college, I'd use my parents' credit card to buy food or to buy just like necessary things that I needed. I wasn't going out and buying expensive things with that. In fact, if my parents had given me like $10,000 at that point, just to give you an idea, as we get into kind of some of the things that I ended up buying when I signed, if my parents were to give me, say, $10,000 and they're like, here, Matt, here's $10,000. Go out right now. Just go buy whatever you want. Go spend it. Just buy something. Go buy stuff. Chances are I'd probably return in a couple of hours and just give the $10,000 back and be like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really need anything. There's nothing I want. So just to give you an idea. Okay, so you've never had any money, first off, right? And now all of a sudden you get a whole lot of money. What do you do with it, right? Like, do you invest it? What do you invest it in? What is investing? What is investing? When I was 18, 19, 20, 21, I was so much in like this bubble of play baseball, get good at baseball, play baseball, get drafted. Yeah, I went to college and I went to Wake Forest, which is a pretty good college, right? I was there to play baseball though, but it's a pretty good college. But I must not have been paying attention. And a lot of times in school, unless you're taking, I guess, business classes, I didn't learn about investing. I didn't learn about what stocks were and bonds and investing in real estate and all these different types of things that you can invest in. I didn't pay attention to any of that. That wasn't on my mind. Baseball was on my mind. And so when I got drafted and someone gives you a whole lot of money, it's like, what do I do with this money? Now, I had people that helped me and explained investing and different things you can invest in, but it's still pretty complicated as a young kid who's never had any money to do anything with except buy food, like living essentials, to now figure out or decide, ultimately pull the trigger on what do I invest in? What do I buy real estate? Do I, buy stocks? Do I buy bonds? Do I buy gold? Do I buy, there's all these different things that you can potentially invest in. There's thousands of options probably. And so I don't know what the hell to do. And so you can imagine most people, most young kids have no clue what they should invest in, what they should do with the money they just received. Now, some other things that come up when you sign for a lot of money. You don't realize how expensive things are in the world. You don't realize how expensive it is to live. So, not so much me, but you can see how a lot of people, a lot of kids would get $1 million and think that they were set for life because you have no idea what it's going to cost to live, to eat, to do anything really, especially again if you were like me who I had someone kind of helping me along the way, my parents, right? I'd never been on my own. I'd been on my own, but financially, I'd never really been on my own. And so you don't realize all the costs that are associated with just living life on your own. You also don't realize that as a professional player, it's going to cost you money to play at the beginning because you get paid nothing to play in the minor leagues. And so you're going to need to find a place to live, right? So you're gonna have to pay for living expenses. Again, you're gonna have to pay for food. You're gonna have to pay for all of these things. When you get home, you could continue to live with your family if that's what you did, which at that age, I'm assuming most people live with their parents. You can continue to live with your parents, or now that you have $1 million or $2 million, you can go out and get your own place to live. But again, there's a lot that comes with living on your own and expenses that you never thought about, like electricity and water and heat and taxes and all these different things that we won't get all into today, but it costs a lot of money to live. And so not everyone thinks about that at a young age. Now, the other thing to think about, or don't think about, is that baseball is very short. And so most people, two things, most players that get drafted never make the major leagues. Therefore, they never make any more money after that initial signing bonus. The second thing is, even if you do make the major leagues, careers are done so quickly, and it takes quite a while to make a lot of money in the major leagues. We've talked about how you've got to get through the minor leagues first, right? Making nothing. And then if you get to the big leagues, you make league minimum for the first 3 years. And that's really tough to get through the first 3 years of a career, right? It's really hard to get to the big leagues. It's even harder to stay there. And so the chances are you're probably never, ever, ever going to make as much money as you did in your signing bonus when you're an early pick, right? And so your career is going to be really, really short. You're probably not going to make a whole lot more money, maybe no more money. And you're probably going to be out of the game by the time you're 27, 28. And now you have to figure out how to live for the next, hopefully 50, 60, maybe 70 years of your life. You're going to have to figure out how to live. Now, the next thing is when you sign for a whole lot of money, you kind of feel like you should buy something, right? Like you see it all the time. You've watched, I don't know, back then, maybe not on social media, but people sign really big signing bonuses. You worked really, really hard. You should buy something, right? People tell you that. You should buy something. Treat yourself, man. You've worked hard for like 10, 15 years to get here. Like, treat yourself to something. So for me, someone, again, that didn't really ever buy anything. Like, my parents could give me money. I probably wouldn't buy anything. I remember all the time as a kid, we had a card store right near my house. My parents would always give me, like, I don't know, $20, $10 to go buy cards. Most kids would probably go in and spend the 10 or 20 bucks. I feel like I came out all the time and gave the money back and was like, I couldn't find any cards I liked, so I was just kind of like a weird kid, I guess, a really, really frugal child. But still, you feel like you should buy something. So you start buying stupid things, okay? And so I bought myself a car. Why? I don't know why. I just was like, I guess I did work hard and yeah, I'll buy a car. So I spent a lot of money on a sports car, Jaguar XK, which back then was expensive. It was probably like $85,000. Stupid. What was I thinking? And then I decided to buy my mother a car. I said I'll buy my mom a car, so I bought my mother a BMW, and then ended up buying a house because I needed a place to stay. Because of course I just got drafted, so why not buy a house? And I did end up investing also. And real estate it's not a terrible investment, right? But some people might say it is. But regardless, I ended up buying things, and so before you know it, you buy a car, you buy another car, you buy a house, you invest some money, and then all of a sudden, boom, after taxes, your money goes pretty quick. And so everybody thinks that once you make all this money, you're set for life. You're never going to have to work another day in your life. And the case, at least for what I've seen, is that couldn't be further from the truth. I signed for a lot of money, and the second I got out of playing baseball, I had to get a real job, just like everybody else. Luckily for me, my real job is coaching baseball. But your signing bonus isn't as much as you think. When you're younger, you think $1 million, man. You know, especially nowadays, especially in 2022 now, $1 million is probably like nothing. And in a few more years, it's going to be even less. But you know, you think when you're younger, like, oh, $1 million, that's going to be, I'm rich, it's amazing, and it's going to last for life. But there's a lot of things that come with that, and it's not as simple as most people think, especially most young people think. The last thing I'd say is if I could do it all over again, you know what I'd do? I would take my money, and I would pull a Rob Gronkowski. I'd invest every cent, because since then I've learned a lot about investing. I kind of had to force myself to do it, because I was like, you know, I knew nothing when I signed. I knew nothing about investing. And so, you know, if I make the major leagues one day and end up making a lot more money, I need to know what the hell to do with this. Like, I don't want to be in the same spot and be like, you know, what's the stock, when someone's trying to tell me, like, you know, you should invest and you should do this and you should do that. And I say, I don't know what any of this stuff is you guys are talking about. So I had to educate myself. If I could do it all again, I'd take all my money. I would invest it all, or maybe not all of it, because you do have to live, and the minor leagues, you're not going to be able to live off of that, okay? So I'd invest a lot of it. I'd keep a little bit to live. I'd drive the same car I drove. I'd live in the same house that I lived in. I wouldn't really change anything, and I would just let that money build up, and I'd reinvest my dividends. I would let it grow and grow and grow, and to the point where right now I'd probably own an island somewhere. I'd probably sipping pina coladas. You'd be watching me. I wouldn't have this in the background. I'd have, you know, palm trees and stuff in the background, and I'd be living off of my investments. Now, lucky enough, again, my investments did well, and I'm okay. I'll be all right. But I would invest every single cent of money that I had if I could do it all over again and know then what I know now. The thing is, you never do. You never know then what you know now. So if you're going to get drafted, hell, do you see, I just checked, the 17th overall pick this past year got like $4.6 million. Like, first rounders getting paid ridiculous amounts of money. But then again, inflation and all that stuff, I understand. Back when I played whatever I got, close to 1.6, back then was more than it is now, okay? But anyways, those are some things to think about when it comes to signing for a whole lot of money. I get asked all the time about this. And so some potential, not so much problems, but just things to think about that not everybody does. So hopefully it helps you out. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, give it a thumbs up, all that good stuff. We'll talk to you later. If you've got hitters that you're looking to improve before the start of next season, this is essential for you. Matt Antonelli here, former Major League player, first-round pick, and college coach. With this course, we're going to show you exactly, step-by-step, how to generate power, develop bat speed, and enhance swing mechanics. Regardless of your hitter's age, this course is going to deliver advanced hitting techniques that will allow any hitter to get better and make an impact at the plate this spring. We have a full catalog of training content that you can access from anywhere at any time. This course is perfect for players, parents, coaches, instructors, and more. It offers a comprehensive package of drills and techniques that you can directly implement. Our course has helped hitters all over the country at different competition levels, and the feedback that we've received has been outstanding. The work you put in now will drive your success at the plate this spring. Get the essential knowledge that you need to take your game to the next level. I've put the link in the description if you want to go check it out.